Hi, in this video, we are going to look at the closing price for Ford stock and determine the annual return for Ford stock. And then we are going to look into some descriptive statistics. And then finally, we are going to plot the annual return to see how that changes over the years. So let's go into the spreadsheet where we will do all these analyses. And as you can see, what you have is dates from December 95 to December 2014. And then we have closing prices for this Ford stock. We are going to calculate the return, which means like how the Ford closing price changed from one year to another. And then these highlighted yellow pieces, we are going to determine the average return, the variance of that return, the standard deviation. We're going to understand how many years of data we have reviewed, and we will find the minimum of the data and then the maximum of the data. So let's start with the first one, where we are going to figure out how the Ford closing price changed from year 1996, 1995 to 1996. To do that, what we will do is we are going to use a formula in here using the cell numbers so that Excel can compute all of this for us in an easy way. So what I will do, I will take the closing price in 96 and subtract the closing price in 95 from that, and then divide that by the closing price in 95. So then that gives me a return from 95 to 96 in terms of what happened to the closing price of this stock for the Ford stock. And then what I can do is I can copy that down, and that way it will be calculated for me automatically. So what I did to copy down, I placed my cursor to the edge, to the right lower end edge, where you can see that black plus sign. And then when I dragged it down, you can see that the formula has been copied. And then to be able to see what formula I have used, I'm going to use the formula text function of Excel. And that way you can see that what I did is I took the closing price in 96, subtracted the closing price in 95, and divided that by the closing price in 95. This is also equal to, if you simplify that, you could say that that is going to be equal to C5 divided by C4 minus 1. And you can see that that should generate the same answer for us. Oops. Well, that cell is acting up, so let's not worry about that. All right. Then I now have the return for Ford. And then what I can do is I can calculate the average by using the average function. This is going to tell me what is the mean for this column for this data. And then I have calculated that. And what you have is really, you have the solutions available to you so that you can work on this template and then compare what you have done to the solution. That way, you will feel more confident about using Excel's functions. So let's do the same thing with the variance. We are going to use uh, the variance function of Excel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use uh, the sample one, the S1, because this is such a small sample. And then I will tell Excel the range of the data. And that way it can calculate that for me. And then same thing with the standard deviation. I will do the same thing, and I will use the sample one because it's such a small data. We are basically practicing with a small data, but these functions are going to be helpful when you are dealing with larger data sets. Now, if you want to understand how many data points you have used, then you can use the count function in Excel, and that will tell you how many data points are in your data. And then as you can see, there are 19. And if you want to find the minimum of your data, then you can do the same thing using the minimum function. And then the same thing if you want to find the maximum function, then you can use the maximum function of Excel, and that will also give you the number. And then you can do this on your own and compare it to the solution that I have given to you in here. That way, if you have computed them correctly or not. And again, you can use the formula text. That way you can be sure of which functions you have utilized in getting your numbers. Next thing is, what I like to do is I like to take this Ford return and plot that so I can see how the return has performed by looking in a graphical format. And to do that, I will go into insert and I will use the line function. And I'm going to use the line with the let's not use with the markers. Let's use this one instead. So let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see in a better way how it changes over the years. And then what I'll do is I will also change the horizontal axis so there are these dates rather than the numbers from 1 to 19. And what the chart did is, or Excel did, is it added these dates so we can see how Ford return has changed over the years. And we can change this chart title to Ford return from 1996 to 2014. And that way you can see how it changed. And then you can compare your work to the solution that was given to you to make sure that you have completed your task correctly. Talk to you soon.